Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inshallah, today we'll continue with chapter 9. Previously, we talked about multiplying binomials, such as these, and we learned about this process called Foyle, which stands for first, outer, inner, last, which helps us multiply these binomials. So by doing this, we did first, which was x squared, and then we had the outer terms, that's 3x, and then we had the inner terms, which is 2x, and finally we had the last terms, which were these, and we multiplied them together, plus 6, and then we appreciated these two were like terms because they're the same variable, the same exponent, and we combined those like terms, and then we got this. So when you multiply these two binomials, so you get that. So we have x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 3, and when you multiply this out, you realize this was x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, so we did this by this process called Foyle. Now, the reverse process, going from here to here, going from this trinomial, this is a trinomial, right? In other words, 3 terms expression, going from this trinomial to over here, this process is called factoring. Okay, so the opposite process of foiling is factoring. Factoring is kind of like unfoiling. Okay, unfoiling. Okay, so this is what we're going to learn today, and students find this to require some degree of practice before you master this. But these two skills, foiling and factoring, are fundamental to doing any algebra. You can't ever escape them until you're done with your schooling, really. So you might as well master these now. So a little extra effort in these at this stage will pay off a lot of dividends in the future, inshallah. So I would encourage you to work hard in these two areas, inshallah. Now, so what we have to do is watch x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now we have to factor this. So the instructions for us are to factor. Okay, so we are to factor this. Now that means we have to kind of unfoil this, right? So we have to go from there to there. Okay, now this process of factoring, you can do it in a certain methodical way to help you. Okay, and there are really 4 parts to the process. The 4 parts. The first part is that you look at this term first, okay? You just look at that term, okay? That's the first thing you do. And then the second part is you look at this term, okay? That's the second thing you do, all right? And then the third part is that you look at this sign, okay? And the fourth part is you look at this sign. So this is the third thing you do, and that's the fourth thing that you do. Okay. In other words, in our effort to factor this trinomial, this expression, we go through these 4 stages. First, we look at this term. Second, we look at this last term. So first term we look at, and we look at the last term. Okay, and then we look at this sign over here. This, in this case, it's a positive sign, and then we look at finally this sign. Okay, so that's the process that of foiling. Of factoring. Okay, so what does that mean? All right, so here it is, x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now we know what this is going to factor into, right? So we're going to use this as an example. So the first thing you do, as I said, is you look at this term, okay, and you keep the term foiling, which would see, foiling is what would take this over here, right? All right, so So what you do is you keep that in mind and you say, okay, in FOIL, this is the first term. This first term is derived from this and this, right? So these are going to be binomials. Something over here, something over here, something over here, something over here. And there's going to be a plus here, a minus here, plus here, minus here, right? Okay, so now, so what we do here is we kind of try to figure out one at a time. So we look at the first term, and then you appreciate the first term is derived by this and this, okay? So the first term here is derived as a product of this term and this term, right? That's what FOIL means over here. So, okay, what two terms will give me x squared? Well, that's easy enough. If I have an x over here, if I have an x over here, x times x, the first two terms will give me x squared. Okay, and then we have this O and I, right? So outer and inner. Okay, that's this and that's this, right? Okay, so we're going to skip that for now. Okay, then we look at the very last term. Okay, so we look at this term. Okay, remember we said that's the first step, that's the second step, this is the third step, and that's the fourth step, right? So then we look at the last term. The last term is 6, correct? So now these two terms, if you understand, they have to multiply to give 6. Now this one and this one, they'll multiply to give the first term, and this one will multiply to give you the last term, right? Okay, so now all we have to figure out now is that what two numbers will multiply to give you 6? Well, 1 and 6, right? And 2 and 3, that's it. So what you do in this little thinking space, so this is kind of like your thinking space, you figure all the factors of that last term. In this case, there's only 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Okay, so 1 and 6 and 2 and 3 will give you 6. So if I put 1 and 6, there's a potential candidate. See, there's a potential candidate. All right. So 1 and 6 will give you 6, but that's not the right answer. We know that already, right? But that's cool. So you say, okay, let's say these are potential candidates, but then you have to understand, whatever goes over here, this outer term and the inner term, the double smileys, you know, like that, double smiley, the outer and the inner term, the o's, they have to add up to give you this, right? Because remember, we said frequently these are like terms, correct? These are like terms. So the question here is, okay, do these add up to give you 5? Okay, so once you select the potential candidates for these over here, you have to understand that when you multiply these out, okay, it has to give you 5. Okay, these will multiply to have to give you 5. Now, when you multiply this out, you get 6x. When you multiply this out, you get 1x, okay? So what you have to ask yourself is, okay, will these two add up because they're like terms? Will these two add or subtract? This and this have to add or subtract to give you that, okay? In this case, they will subtract to give you 5, okay, but that's not going to work. And they will add to give you 7, okay? All right. So let's say somebody picked 1 and 6, okay? So they picked 1 and 6. All right. And this is wrong. We'll figure this out, okay? Now, and then we said the third step is you look at the sign. If this sign is positive, that means whatever the signs going to go here are going to be the same. Okay, so if this is positive, that means the signs are the same. If this was negative, for example, like this, x squared plus 5x minus 6, okay, this would mean the signs are going to be different. One of them is going to be positive, the other one is going to be negative, or this one is going to be negative, this is going to be positive. Okay, so if this being positive, it means both of these signs, whatever they are, they're going to be the same. It doesn't tell you it's going to be positive or negative. It just tells you that it's going to be the same. These signs are going to be the same. And then you look at this sign to tell you what it's going to be. So this sign is positive, means both of these are positive. Okay, so this first sign over here tells us that both of these signs are going to be positive. They're going to be the same. Sorry, they're going to be the same. And this sign tells you that both of them are going to be positive. Okay. So if somebody had picked 1 and 6, and they looked at this sign and said, okay, they're both going to be positive. So they're both going to be the same, and they're both going to be positive. So they're going to put 1 and 1. But if they did that, but now look at this. Now this is 6x, and this is 1x. 6x and 1x, if they add them together, you don't get 5, you get 7. So this is incorrect. So the 6 and 1 will not work. Okay? So then we have to go back. Okay, we say, well, 6 and 1 don't work, but the other factors are 2 and 3. What happens if I put 2 and 3 over here? Well, do 2 and 3, so this is 3x and 2x. So then now they always see, these are like terms, they have to add or subtract to give 5. Do they add or subtract to give 5? This 3x plus 2x is 5. Yeah, that will work. 5x, right? So, okay, so these are potential candidates. They seem to work. Okay, then we do the last two steps. Okay, this one says that signs are the same, and this one says they're both positive. Okay, so both positive like this. Now this is positive 2x, and this is positive 3x, and they add to give you 5, and we're done. Okay, so this is how you would factor that. Now let's go back and do this one more time. Now, this is how you do it. Okay, look at the first term and say, okay, what do I have to put over here to give you the first term? That's x. That's easy enough. X goes here, and x goes over here. Okay? That's the first step. And then you look at the last term and say, okay, what two terms do give you 6? So you put your thinking cap on. You say, okay, these are the factors of 6, right? Either it's going to be 1 and 6, it's going to be, or 6 and 1. Somebody could do that, or 2 and 3, or 3 and 2 could be that. Okay. So, but we've already gone through this one, so I'm going to say, okay, let's try 2 and 3 this time. And then you would look at this sign over here, and this sign says, okay, both of these are going to be the same sign. And then you look at this one, and you say, oh, both of them are going to be positive. Okay. Then you check the outer and inner. The outer is 3x, the inner is 2x. That's the OI. See, the OIs are like terms. They have to add to give you 5x. Okay, so 3x plus 2x is 5x. So this will factor out to that. So that's the answer. That's how you factor. Okay? All right, let's do one more. Actually, we're going to do quite a few. Patiently. See, sometimes you just can't rush these things. You just kind of have to, be patient and like put glue on your seat or something like that, and just go through it. I'm sorry. So let's do this one. X squared, okay, plus x minus 12. Okay. All right, so we're going to factor this, inshallah. So the first term is easy. So to keep that in my foil, right? So we're going backwards of foil. So first term here is this. You're going to put x and x. That'll give you the first term. That's easy enough. Then we need to try to figure this out, right? To do that, we look at this last term over here and come up with factors. What numbers will multiply to give 12? Okay, that's it. And 4 and 3 is the same thing. So these are the factors of 12. So I could potentially put 1 and 12 over here, right? I could put 2 and 6 over here, or I could put 3 and 4 over here. Okay, all right. After a while, you'll see this becomes easier. You can foresee what will work. But I'm going to try 2 and 6, okay? So I'm just going to put 2 and 6. And you have to say, okay, but these two factors they have to add or subtract to give you 1. Okay, like this. This is 6x and 2x. Do they add or subtract to give you 1 in any way? No, they don't add or they don't subtract to give you 1. So you can see 2 and 6, whichever way you cut it, is not going to work. Okay? Alright, if we could try, so this is not going to work. Let's try 1 and 12. Well, do 1 and 12, do they add or subtract to give this? I don't see how that can be. This is 12x, this is 1x, right? If they add them, you get 13x. You subtract them, you get 11x. Okay, that's not going to work. So, okay, that's gone. So we're left with 3 and 4. Okay, so we're going to put 3 and 4 over here. Now, then you see, okay, do they add or subtract to give you 1x? Okay, so this is 4x and this is 3x. Well, if you add them, you get 7x. If you subtract them, you get 1x. Oh yeah, that might work, right? So that's good. So, okay, so 3 and 4. Then you look at this sign over here. Okay, this is negative, so this says whatever goes over here, they're going to be different signs. They're not going to be the same. So if this is going to be positive, this is going to be, or then it's going to be negative. If this is negative, then this is going to be positive. So they're going to be different signs. Then you look at this one. If this is a plus, this means the bigger product is going to be plus. In this case, the bigger product is this one over here. So you have to make this a plus. So that's plus, and that's a minus. This is negative 3x, and this is positive 4x. If you add them together, you get a positive x. Okay? So that's the process of factoring trinomials like this. Okay. Now, as I said, we're going to patiently do a few of these, okay? So here's some examples. Let's do this one. You can try this on your own if you like. So this one is easy. The first term is going to be b. And here, whatever goes here has to be a factor of 7. That's 1 and 7. That's easy. That's only one factor, so there's no other way of getting a 7. Then we're going to do fractions or anything like that. Okay, so 1 and 7. Well, that's easy enough. This one says the signs are the same, and both of them are going to be positive, like this. And we're done. So this will factor up to this. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, first term is easy, again, like this. Now we look at the 10. Okay, whatever goes here has to be multiplied to give you 10. So, okay, what are the factors of 10? That's 1 and 10, 2 and 5, and that's it, right? All right, so we can try, well, let's try 2 and 5, because that's incorrect, okay? So, but then whatever you put over there, they have to add and subtract to give you this middle term right there. Well, 2n plus 5n, there's no way you're going to add or subtract them to get 11n, okay? So 2 and 5 is not going to work. Okay, well, that was a good try anyways. So let's do this again. 2 and 5 does not work. So 1 and 10. 1 and 10. Okay, that's, well, this is 1n, this is 10n, they added to give 11, that's cool. Add or subtract, that's cool, that works. And this says the signs are the same, and they're both negative. So it's, the signs are the same, and they're both negative, and you're done. Okay? All right, let's do this one. They're not that many, okay? It's like this. Picked out like 8 problems. So first term, easy enough, m and m, and then this last term, it has to be multiples of, okay, multiply to give you 9. That's 1 and 90, 2 and 45, okay, and then 3 and what, 30, blah blah blah, and then, but you can see it's going, I can almost tell it's going to be 10 and 9, okay. So if this is going to be a tough one, if you can't foresee that they have to add or subtract to give you 1, right? So if you put like 2 and 45 here, now that's 2m and 45m, they don't add or subtract to give you 1. So after a while, as I said, this becomes more easier, and this is 10 and 9 because this is 10m and this is 9m, right? They subtract to give you 1, right? They add to give you 19, but they subtract to give you 1. So they have to either add or subtract to give you this term. Okay? And these two symbols determine which, if they add or subtract, see? Okay. And now all we have to do is put the signs in. Okay, they're different. So this sign said they're different. And this one said the bigger product is positive. The bigger product is this one. So that's going to be positive. That's going to be negative. Okay? What if somebody did this, okay? What if somebody did this? We put 10 over here and 9 over here. What if they did 9 over here and 10 over here first, okay? Instead of putting 10 here, right? That's okay, right? That's perfectly all right. So this is 9m and this is 10m. And this is the signs are different, the bigger product is positive. In that case, you would put a positive here, okay, and you put negative here. The first time it did this, it was m plus 10 and m minus 9. See, these are the same things, commutative property of multiplication, right? Okay, so it's okay when you do that. It works out. All right, so let's do this one. Now you're getting the hang of it, hopefully. N and n, okay? So whatever goes here has to multiply to give 12. That's 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 4 and 3. If you try 4 and 3, like this, they have to add and subtract to give you 4. That's not going to work. Okay, so 4 and 3 doesn't work. All right, and then, well, let's say 2 and 6. Do they add or subtract to give 4? Yes. This is 2n plus, and this is 6n. They subtract to give 4. Okay, that might work. And then lastly, the sign. These are going to be different signs. The bigger product, 6n, 2n, the bigger product is going to be positive. So this product is positive. This is negative. Because this is going to be positive 6n. This is going to be negative 2n. That way. Okay? That's that. All right, let's do this one. M, easy enough. So this is 1, the product's 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and what? 8, and 4, 6. Right? That's it. Now, whatever you put here, they have to add or subtract to give 2. Add or subtract to give 2, okay? Kind of can foresee that. 4 and 6. Okay, you can, so after you try some of these, you kind of get it and show. So the signs are different. It's a negative sign. The signs are different. The bigger product is positive. This is 6m. This is 4m. The bigger product, which is this, has to be positive. So we put plus here and minus here. Because it was minus 4m. This is positive. And that would be the factor. Okay, let's try this one. So we put x over here, x over here. So this is 24. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, same thing as before, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6, correct? All right. So, well, they have to add or subtract to give 4, okay? So 1 and 24, that's just not going to work because it's 1x and 4x. And 24x, that's no one add or subtract. How about 2 and 12? Let's put 2 and 12 over here. This is 2x, and that is 12x. Come on now. They don't add or subtract to give 4. Okay, so this is out, this is out. All right. So, okay, let's go to the next one. That's 3 and 8. So they have to add or subtract to give 4. Okay. That's to subtract to give what? 5, add to give 11. That's not going to work. It's not looking good so far. Also, it has to be the last one, right? So if you do 4 and 6, when you do 4 and 6, you get 4x and 6x here, right? Okay, you have to add, subtract to give 4. How's that going to work? No, that doesn't work either. So what are we going to do? Did we miss any factors over here? Let's see. 1, 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 5. It doesn't go 6. We already got 6 and 4. Okay. So this is a case, in fact, that this trinomial, see, cannot be factored. Okay, cannot be factored. See, not all trinomials can be factored. All right, so this one is cannot be factored. All right, now this one is trickier. Next time, sure, I'll do more trickier ones, but this one is not as tricky as you might think. Okay, so now see we have this. Okay, now you have, instead of just, now this is a 2 over here. First you would call it off guard, right? Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? So the first thing you do before you start this is there anything you can factor out from all these terms? Okay, because that would make life easier. You see, 2 is common to all of them, so you can factor out a 2 like this. And then inside you would have n squared plus 3n minus, what's 2? That's 54, right? Correct? Plus 3 minus 54. Okay? And then you start factoring. So then you go like this. Okay? So this is n and n. Now you have to figure out what are the factors of 54. Okay, so 1 and 54. 2 and 27, right? And 3 and what's this going to be? 3 goes in there 1 time, 3 goes in there 18 times. Is that right? Correct? Brain fight. Let's do this. 54 divided by 3. 18. Okay, that's correct. So that's 3 and 18. Okay. And then, what's that? 4. Okay, is 4 going to 54? 54 divided by 4? No, it doesn't go. How about 54 divided by 6? Because I know 54 divided by 6. Okay, that's 9. So it's 6 and 9. Okay. So that's good. So they have to, these have to add or subtract to give 3, right? That's not going to work. That's not going to work. That's not going to work because they don't add or subtract to give you 3. But this will. Okay. So put 6 and 9 over here because they add and subtract to give you 3. Now this sign says they're going to be different. This sign says the bigger product is going to be positive. So it's going to be positive, negative, like that. Okay. So the first, this one taught us that the first thing you do is try to see if you can factor something out of the whole thing. Now look at this one. Same scenario. Maybe you can factor out a 5, huh? You get n squared plus 2n plus 4, right? Okay, then you can factor this out like this. That's pretty easy. There's n over here, n over here. 4, they have to add or subtract to give you 2, right? Correct? So 1 and 4, they don't do, that doesn't work. Well, okay, maybe 2 and 2. That'll give you add or subtract to give you 4. That doesn't work. So that's it. So I don't think you can factor this one out any further. Okay, so that's it. That's all you can factor here, I think. All right. So inshallah, next time I will try to do some more trickier one of these factoring. But before we do that, inshallah, we will practice this deal worksheet and get really, really good at this, inshallah. Until next time, then. Assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum.